Welcome to Sports Econ 101. For those of you new to our show, imagine a few guys sitting around a bar without the drinks, talking sports and business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, well-known radio sports personality Bruce McGowan, and Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX-TV in San Francisco. On this show, we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. In addition, we're going to be asking sports trivia questions, where we're giving away vacations to the first 3 callers with the correct answer. Our phone number is 888-660-4495. Write that number down because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Check them out. We're also on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and CRN, amongst many stations around the country. Today's trivia theme is the Dream Team. No special guest today, but we're going to talk about college football games, bowl games specifically. When I was young, the Fiesta Bowl was new. That's how ancient I am. Major League Baseball lawyers say in court filing that the Oakland A's request to move to San Jose was turned down in June by Commissioner Bud Selig. We'll talk a little bit about that. Clayton Kershaw turns down a lifetime $300 million contract from the Dodgers, saying he wants to hold out for more money to afford a 2-bedroom fixer-upper in Torrance. No, just kidding about that, but I thought that was kind of a cute little blog I heard. T.J. Ward, the guy who put Gronkowski out for the year with a torn ACL due to hitting him too low, he said he was afraid that he was going to get fined if he hit too high. So we're going to talk about that. How many more football injuries occur due to cold weather? And Joe Torre, Bobby Cox, and Tony LaRussa get into the Hall of Fame, but George Steinbrenner is left out into the cold. We'll talk about that, see if there's an axe to grind. Have any questions? Email Edward at SportsEcon101, and we'll try to answer it on the air. This segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding 8% secured by real estate. Doesn't get any more conservative than that. Check them out at PacificPrivateMoney.com. Stay tuned. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, and we'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Okay. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Sup?
And Bruce McGowan. I always love when he starts off that way.
I love it.
Okay, let's see. Let's get right into, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be getting into the college football bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was young, if I remember correctly, the Fiesta Bowl was new.
Yes, it was.
Right? They only had like the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl. The Cotton Bowl was big.
The Cotton Bowl
but
was always
now
big.
that's kind of taken sort of a back seat.
The Rose Bowl was always the granddaddy.
That was the granddaddy. Do you remember Jim Plunkett, 1970?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Before he went to the Boston Patriots?
That's right.
Beat the Ohio State Buckeyes.
That's right.
Beat them convincingly.
Yeah, that's right. So I was looking at the venues here, excuse me, the how much the team, it says here, most recent per team payout, $17 million for the Rose Bowl.
Dang.
Yeah.
Now, and some of these teams, they get to keep it all, but some of these teams, they got to share with the rest of the league, right?
I'm not sure
I
how
think-
that
I don't know
works.
how that
Yeah,
works.
I think.
It doesn't surprise me, though.
I think with the Pac-12, you got to share that check
Yeah.
with the other member schools.
Of course, the Pac-12 is doing very well because of that new Pac-12 television network, which, of course, a lot of people were not really thrilled with that. I know I have in-laws, my mother and father-in-law, who were longtime Stanford season ticket holders, and they hated not being able to go to Saturday afternoon games because all the games were 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You have a game at 7 o'clock, you got to drive.
Well, that's that's money. It's close to prime time. It's hey, you got to adjust.
I understand it, but I mean, if you're a traditionalist, college football is meant to be played on a Saturday afternoon. That's just it, and that's the problem. Television rules everything now.
Yeah, they drive the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
been that
billions
way
of dollars.
It's been that way for a long time. Again, as a purist, somebody who grew up with it, I don't like it. But I'm old school.
And having said that, now that you brought up the bowls, how much will all these bowls really mean next year when the playoff system comes into light?
How are they going to work that? Do playoffs before the bowls? To figure out who gets into
They're
the
going to
bowls?
use the main bowls as
playoff.
in the playoff system.
Because they still have, the BCS.
So whoever has the national championship game, that essentially will be the college football Super Bowl.
Why is it we have to have a national champion that is, in the old days it was the mythical national champion. And even now, today, it's an imperfect system where the team that wins it isn't really always the best team. But yes, they are. They won the national championship.
Because it's all because everybody else does it, and you have a decisive winner from this tournament.
It's America.
Where you got, I believe you get to what is it, the top 16 teams make it, or top 12? Somehow they get this committee. Condoleezza Rice is a member of this committee, where they decide who's going to go, and they just whittle it down using the bowl systems. But these little Poland weed eater bowls, who are at the bottom of the food chain. I mean,
I wonder how much they pay.
Is anybody going to care?
Yeah, like the Capital One Bowl. Like, how much does Capital One pay to put their name on that?
I mean, I like the one here in the Bay Area. We have the Kraft 500 Bowl, which has Washington against BYU. Now, it's not a huge game by any means, but it's two great schools.
Didn't Kraft bail? Isn't it just the Fight Hunger Bowl?
Fight Hunger Bowl, okay.
Yeah.
I guess so. Maybe not.
Well, okay, so years ago, like before the BCS championship game, because I think that's the whole reason why they brought it in, is because they were going, okay, well, what was, let's say, the Rose Bowl? That was supposed to be the granddaddy. Is that open to potentially all teams? I mean, you don't have to be in the Pac-12 and the Pac-8, right? It was theoretically the two best teams.
Texas got in there one year and aced out Cal, which I thought was just that was terrible. In 2006, when Aaron Rodgers was there, Cal was ranked ahead of Texas most of the season, but Mac Brown did such a great job of campaigning. And I remember talking to Nnamdi Asomugha, who was playing with the Raiders, who had been at Cal. He goes, we were robbed. Yeah. And it's true, they were. I mean, Texas put on a good show with Vince Young, but still.
But wasn't that the national championship game?
No, it was not the national championship game. No.
How did Texas go then?
I can't remember the exact circumstances. All I know is that Mac Brown was a very, very influential guy, and he had a lot more pull than Jeff Tedford.
Well, it reminds me, last week we had Brian Toohey on about the fixes in, and who knows? Maybe there was a payoff for that one.
I'm telling you.
You're talking big bucks on that.
Well, you know where Cal went? They ended up going, I think, to someplace like the Holiday Bowl, and they lost.
Yeah.
They lost.
Down in San Diego.
Yeah, they lost to, I think it was Texas Tech beat them. I mean, Texas Tech was a good team, but not as good as Cal that year.
Couldn't stop the spread.
Yeah,
no, but they got that. True. It's so funny.
The spread offense.
Now, see, I remember the Alamo Bowl. That one's been like.
That one's still around?
Way down.
Remember the Sun Bowl?
The Sun Bowl was good in El
Paso.
I actually went and covered the Sun Bowl one year with the Washington Huskies.
I remember covering the Peach Bowl a couple of times when I was working on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got these future proposed games: the Bahamas Bowl, the Boca Raton Bowl, the Camilla.
The Camilla's Bowl's been around for a while, hasn't it? That's Camellia. I'm thinking of Camellia.
Well, maybe that's how you pronounce it, but it's 2014, and it's going to be in the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. Is that named for Prince, his girlfriend?
You got me, bro.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, the Miami Beach Bowl, the Cure Bowl?
The Cure Bowl? C-U-R-E?
Yeah.
What are they curing or trying to cure?
I don't know. The unnamed Detroit Bowl, the unnamed Dubai Bowl.
Dubai. Get out of here. As in, like, the country of Dubai?
Listen, I read this on Wikipedia, and it never lies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dubai.
According to Wiki.
Now, remember the Bluebonnet Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Astro Bluebonnet Bowl for a while, because they played in the Astrodome.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that was for a short time.
Astrodome looks like a bump.
Is it still there?
Next to Reliance Stadium, it looks like a bump.
Does it still?
Yeah, it's still there.
Well, we should keep Candlestick Park up then.
There you go.
Come on.
They even had the Cigar Bowl.
No.
1946 to 1954.
Where?
Chicago
Tampa,
or something.
Florida.
Oh, Tampa.
Of course, near Cuba, right?
Yeah, of course.
The Dixie Bowl, the Delta Bowl.
Wow.
I mean, but we're talking just before we went on the air.
Remember the Super Bowl champion would play the college All-Stars?
Yes, I do.
Early on?
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, because you know what? I just got disinterested in the Pro Bowl. I love the baseball All-Star game. Basketball is entertaining, it's 145 to 134 type points. But for some reason, the Pro Bowl.
Well, the guys don't care. They're not going to hit each other hard, but it's fun to see all those great stars together.
That part of it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Well, before we went on the air, we were talking about how good teams, are going to get better in college because you're going to be getting the really good college athletes who say, listen, like right now, Auburn is hot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you get these guys saying, well, I was thinking about going to Cal, but maybe I'll shoot for Auburn.
Well, we were talking about this earlier.
But, kids want to play. Yeah. So, Auburn could pursue you at, let's say you're a running back, but there may be dude, there may be 10 other running backs better than you.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't care.
So you better be a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah. But if San Diego State wants you and you start right away, I mean, these kids want to play.
I feel sorry for some of these college coaches though, because just an example, we were talking about Mike here in the Bay Area. We had a couple of kids who were from a school in El Cerrito, very good program over in the East Bay, and they were committed to Cal and USC, but because those schools had lousy seasons, they decided to change their intent to sign elsewhere. They went to Arizona State, and I understand that happens, but it just seemed kind of right in the middle of the season it happened.
Wow. Well, what's the timeline for being able to make it change?
I'm not sure.
I think you could. I think these kids can
change almost any time.
Right up to the moment, because it all comes to it, and it's kind of an antiquated thing in this push button world. It's all when fax machines come into play. Can you imagine these grown men in a room? They're just staring at a fax machine,
waiting for that fax machine.
waiting for that letter of intent signed, to come through. Because once it comes through, that's it.
That's going to be tough though for a coach who's really counting on this one kid, and the kid is sort of waffling.
Well, the kid's going to say, "What's a fax machine?" Can I tweet it?
And now a lot of this stuff is televised on ESPNU. Like the creme de la creme. I mean, they're sitting there at a table. They're in the gym. Yeah. There's like 3 hats there, and they pick. They go for one hat, and then they pick the other one, put it on, and then they make their decision.
I wonder too. Like you get some, good colleges like Harvard, right? It may not be great for football, but you think, gosh, if I can get a free ride scholarship to a good education. Yeah. Okay, we're going to cut to our first commercial break, and again, the trivia theme is the Dream Team.
Dream Team.
The Dream Team. You guys remember
Which
that?
one? The first one.
The first one.
Okay.
Who was the player that Michael Jordan said he would refuse to play?
Olympics, I got that.
This guy was.
Yeah.
The first 3 callers before that's
very controversial.
That's a real slap. The first 3 callers with the correct answer won a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660.
And a little child will lead them.
Yeah.
That's right. 888-660-4495. I still remember the All-Star game with him and Magic Johnson. Okay. Yeah. That's the only reason I'm saying that is because I can tell you guys already know the answer. Who was the player that Michael Jordan said he would refuse to play in the 1992 Olympics if this guy was chosen for the team? 888-660-4495. Make sure to include your name and your email address. Speak slowly. Spell out your email 1 letter at a time. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back.
So it wasn't Magic. It was Isaiah.
It was Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know what the beef was.
Yeah. Maybe there was some kind of personal thing.
No, it was something personal.
Yeah, I was going to say it was some kind of.
Because I mean, Isaiah was he was the top point guard.
It has to do with a woman, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I'm just saying that.
The thing about Magic was, when he came out and said, "I've got AIDS," everybody thought, "Oh my God, he's going to die." And now here we are, 21 years later, he's still doing pretty well. Of course, he got the best treatment, and he didn't have AIDS. He had the virus, which is not full-blown AIDS. He had the SI.
But man, boy, he knocked back that cocktail every day. Man, he worked his ass off.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot. I heard stories. He had like so many different women, and that was the problem. He had too many women.
I know people are going, "Oh, he's probably gay." No,
it's
too many women.
He had too many women.
That's probably what Will Chamberlain.
I remember
10,000 women.
I dated a lot in the 1980s, and women were so. Well, you remember? They were paranoid about having sex. You better have a condom. I mean, you better have a condom. After the wild and permissive 70s, it was not. It wasn't that way in the 80s.
I was too young and innocent back then.
God, what was?
Yeah, it's probably some personal thing. These guys.
Okay.
Michael's maintained a pretty low profile these days, hasn't he? Yeah. Does he still own part of the Charlotte team?
I think so.
I think he does. You see him in commercials once in a while, but he's pretty. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Yeah.
And Bruce McGowan.
Yes, indeed.
When we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question. Again, the theme is the Dream Team. Who was the player that Michael Jordan said he would refuse to play in the 1992 Olympics if this guy was chosen for the team?
Number 11.
Isaiah
Thomas.
And does anybody know why?
No, it had to be some kind of personal problem or thing between these guys.
I think it had something to do with a woman.
Both had big egos. I mean, Michael Jordan was a classy guy. Isaiah Thomas, as we found out, is not a classy guy. There were a lot of things that were going on. Well, when he was coaching, he did some things that were just, I don't want to get into it, but I'm not a big fan of Isaiah Thomas.
I used to be, though. I mean,
he was a great player. No, don't get me wrong. I liked him as a player. I'm just saying as a person. Now, Michael Jordan you know, he may have had a big ego, but I tell you, how can you not respect him for what he did for the game and the way he changed the game and just his whole demeanor. I remember talking to him after games, and he would make sure that, you know, everybody got a chance to ask a question, and he'd look you right in the eye.
Wow.
But he also kept you waiting a little bit, as he should. He was royalty. The guy was, 6 World Championships in what, 8 years? And the 2 years they didn't win, he wasn't with the team. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give you guys a quick little trivia question here. Name me only 2 boxers in history who have fought in 5 decades.
Ooh.
Why don't you,
5 decades.
George Foreman.
why don't you think about that while we talk about the...
I was going to say George Foreman fought a long time, but I don't think it's 5 decades. 60s, 70s,
Not
80s.
bad, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm just tripping. I'm still tripping about Michael and Isaiah.
Yeah,
I mean, there was some rumor. There was some thought that the Michael was upset with Isaiah for freezing him out during an All-Star game.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
God, could it be that bad? Gee.
you know what? Maybe we'll get them both on, and then they'll be able to talk about
Interesting thing about basketball players, they're more prima donnas, maybe because it's more of an individual game, and that you recognize these guys more. One guy can really impact. I mean, look at what Michael
how many
did.
guys are on a bench?
7. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you know, baseball, you got, 25?
Yeah.
Football, you got 56?
53.
53.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you can
It's a
stand out a
small
little bit
group.
more.
Small group.
Change the subject here. Major League Baseball lawyers say in a court filing that the Oakland A's request to move to San Jose has been turned down. Turned down in June.
Well, you know why? They don't want to deal with the Giants, who will take it to court, because the Giants got the territorial rights for San Jose when Bob Lurie years ago tried to get a stadium built down there when the Giants were struggling, and they kept the territorial rights, and they don't want to give them up, and I don't blame them.
And who gave him the rights?
The Haas family.
The Haas family, owners of the A's at the time.
Great, and probably the best owners in the history of Bay Area sports. And it's so nice that Tony LaRussa made the Hall of Fame.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I mean, he deserved it.
Yeah, and well, okay, let's finish off with the A's thing, and then we'll go
What
to
a class! Him,
Yeah.
Joe Torre,
Bobby Cox.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a Hall of Fame class!
Yeah, that's a great one.
Well, going back to the A's for a minute. So where else could they move?
They can't move anywhere. They're not going to go to Sacramento. There's no stadium there that's Major League ready. There is no other major market in the country that can take them.
So that's good for Oakland.
They have no hand. They got no leverage. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're stuck.
So
and the thing is, Donald Fisher owns the team. Lou Wolf is the front man, but Donald Fisher is the money man. You know, he should stop complaining. Billy Beane has done a great job putting together a winning team. Stick a little more money into the team. And promote the team. Quit complaining about it.
What about the stadium? Don't they have to do something about that?
But I mean, again, I understand.
I think they've done as much to the stadium as they possibly can.
The thing is, they've got a blue-collar crowd. The fans there that go to A's games, generally speaking, are not corporate people. It's not like going to a Giants game.
Yeah, when you're going to a Giants game, you're going to an event.
You're going
to an A's game, you're going to a game.
You're going to a game.
For a lot of people who don't know, the Oakland Coliseum is right next to where the Warriors play.
That's right, at Oracle Arena.
For now.
For now.
They
want to move to San Francisco.
They want to move to Cal Poly.
Those high rollers, they want to move them to the base of the Bay Bridge.
Well, they used
right in San Francisco.
They played, for those that don't know, in the Cow Palace, which was a big agricultural hall back in the early '60s in Daly City. But they're talking about building this brand new arena on the waterfront.
One of the piers.
To resemble the
one in Australia.
The Opera Plaza in Australia.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. You could, for us Bay Area people, we could just take a ferry right over to it.
I think it's a great idea. I know it's a money thing, but I mean, I know the Warrior fans, a lot of them don't like it, but generally speaking, the Warriors are the Bay Area's team. They're not Oakland's team. They're not San Francisco team. That's why they're called the Golden State Warriors.
They're California's team because they're Golden State.
That's right.
Yeah, Northern California. I mean, the fans in LA are not going to acknowledge it. The Clippers fans and the Lakers. The Laker fans.
Oh, that's right. The Clippers. They are in California.
That's right.
Okay. In fact, we were just talking about Tony LaRussa, Bobby Cox, Joe Torre getting into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, guys. But George Steinbrenner only got half of the votes that were needed.
He's never going to get in.
And you got to figure there's got to be a tax.
Well, there's so many. I mean, each year there's so many players, so many managers that have to get in. They're gonna take the spot that an owner would.
Oh, sure.
So that's.
And how many owners
I hate to say it. I mean, that may be why ultimately Eddie DeBartolo didn't get in.
Yeah. I mean, how many owners are in the Hall of Fame, though? Yeah.
You can only vote. You have to vote for like a player or a.
No, it's not so much that. It's just that so many greats that are eligible that would supersede any owner.
No, I'm saying that. But don't you put them in separate categories.
Separate categories. Well, the thing.
Well, there's a veterans committee. You're right about that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about to get in legitimately on a first time, second time ballot, where everybody gets a vote, more separate from a veterans committee
Okay.
that will vote you down the line.
And baseball sets a much higher standard. And I'll be honest with you, though, I think they should allow all the steroid guys in. I really do. I think if you keep all of them out, you have to keep everybody who ever played in that era.
You think that'll eventually happen? Maybe with the next commissioner that comes in?
50 years from now, it'll happen.
You think it'll take that long? I mean,
Yeah, I
take a
do.
long
I think
time?
it'll, I mean, not 30 years. It's going to take people who never saw these guys play, who are looking at the record books, and say 2040, because too many sports writers I know are just so jaded about it. Now, a guy like Bruce Jenkins writes from the Chronicle. He says Bonds should go in. He says that Clemens should go in. I agree. Bonds and Clemens were Hall of Famers before they started doing steroids.
It's interesting with Clemens. I'm trying to think of the steroids, how much.
But if you
they-
follow the letter of the law, if they cheated.
Well,
Then-
but how many other guys?
I mean,
we don't know. Ken Caminiti,
Dude,
the late great Ken
Rose
Caminiti.
bet on the game, but
Yeah.
we saw how great of a player he was.
Yeah. Oh, I think Rose should be in. I really do. I think Rose is being kept out because he lied and he won't fess up to it, or if he is
All
fessing
he
up
had
to
to
it too
do
long.
was just say,
I
"Yeah,
did it, I'm sorry,
Yeah, like
yeah.
again, Andy Pettit. Everyone is now going to forget that he did steroids too.
I think Barry Bonds would have a much better chance, and Roger Clemens, if they were better liked by the media as well. The media has a tendency, if you're not popular, just look at Colin Kaepernick as an example. Everybody around the Bay Area who is in the media doesn't like Colin Kaepernick because he doesn't give them any interesting answers. He's curt and he's short. And so what?
Then he came out a week and a half ago and pretty much said, "Hey, I'm contractually obligated to play football."
Yeah.
I mean, this is you guys.
He's got a big smile on his
Just
face.
that-
He always seems like a nice guy.
He actually is. I think he's just not very sophisticated when it comes to the media, and he feels because he set such a high standard last year, everybody wanted him to continue to do that, and teams adjusted to him, and he's having a tough time.
But you know what we do, Bruce? We build guys up and
yeah.
just knock them down.
We
That's
do.
what we do.
That's what we
That's our
do.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, Kaepernick, we were talking about this earlier, that last year he did a lot of great running,
Mhm.
and
They stopped the read option. They cut it off. He can't run on the corners anymore. He did actually last week against Seattle, or a couple weeks ago against Seattle. He set up a touchdown or a big play. I think it was a go-ahead field goal with a read option run and caught Seattle flat-footed. But other teams now have figured out how to defend him.
Well, when you didn't, you started your first game in week 11 last year. Nobody got any tape on him.
Yeah,
So you had a way to prepare for him.
That's
So
right.
yeah, I mean, you can't defend what you don't know.
that's right.
Now, I mean, after all these games, everybody's seen it, especially on this all 22 coaches film, and so they know how to seal off the edges and keep them in there and keep them from running.
but then you got to figure if that's going to happen, then he's going to have some kind of other advantage, right? Somewhere.
Well,
in
he's
the
going to
middle.
have to make adjustments. And Jim Harbaugh, and that's up to
He's
Jim
gonna have to
Harbaugh.
learn. He's gonna have to learn how to play quarterback.
Exactly. And Jim Harbaugh, it's on him too. And Jim Harbaugh is trying to stand behind this guy because he's got no trick. Who's he going to have as an alternative?
Who's the backup?
Colt McCoy, I think, isn't it?
Colt McCoy.
Yeah. Who
He's
may
QB
have
too.
been,
Browns.
may have been a good college quarterback, but I don't know.
Well, he played for the Browns for a little bit.
He did.
He did.
Yeah,
He
he
did.
first round
Yeah.
after. Just
Yeah.
didn't seem to do much.
Did not work out.
But
No.
Joe Montana, when he first showed up, nobody had heard of him outside of a few hardcore football fans in college, and he became the best thing. But it took him 2 years of sitting on the bench watching Steve DeBerg, and then slowly they moved him in at the age of 24. Suddenly, at 25, he becomes a star.
Then in a place somewhere in Montana, they decided to change the name of their city to Joe.
Joe
That's
Montana.
right.
That's
So I
right.
think it only had about
That's right.
I
50,
forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think it was a town of about 50, so it's pretty
Yeah.
easy to
That's funny.
run. Well, it's nice, the 3 letters, Joe. That's it. Where you live, Joe, Montana. Pretty simple.
That works.
I like that.
I like
That
it.
works. Okay, so our trivia theme is the Dream Team.
All right.
Okay, and we're going to cut to the second commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Clayton Kershaw and his lifetime $300 million contract that was turned down. Okay, who was the coach of the Dream Team?
The very first coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. Who was the coach of the Dream Team? Call 888-660-4495 and make sure to include your name and your email address, and speak slowly and spell out your email one letter at a time. And if I remember correctly, weren't there a lot of teams that around the world who they would just be in so awe of these guys, treating them like royalty, getting
Oh, sure.
your picture taken.
Oh, yeah.
You play against them and then you get your picture taken. I just love that.
I mean, they beat the brains out of another team, and then you got the opposing team. Hey, can I get a picture?
Well, you know, I mean, I personally love the fact that they had the dream team because it was unfair having these college kids go against guys who were getting paid from from other countries. Okay, so again, one more time, who was the coach of the dream team? 888-660-4495. Don't touch that dial. When Sports Econ 101 comes back, we're going to talk a little bit about Clayton Kershaw turning down a lifetime $300 million contract. Stay tuned.
That's the late Chuck Daly? Is that who it was?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just remember.
Very good.
2
Yeah,
years
but
ago,
they,
he
yeah,
passed
they,
away.
but then he got, weren't his assistant coaches, wasn't like, Krzyzewski and like,
Well, that's what I thought people were going to.
Yeah.
they were going to get
Well,
Krzyzewski.
they
That's
just
what I
won.
would guess,
They won what two championships, I think. They won in '90, and I think they won in '91.
Which
Was that
also
92?
added
92,
to the
yeah.
allure of the controversy when Isaiah got his dream team.
Oh
snubbed.
yeah, there you go. Maybe that was. Yeah, you're
When he
favoring
did what?
Isaiah.
When Isaiah was snubbed because
Yeah.
Chuck Daly was coach of the Pistons
Oh, that's right.
and Isaiah was his point guard.
Dennis Rodman was not on that team. Wait, Dennis Rodman's got this weird relationship with Kim Jong over in North Korea. That is so strange. That
He's
guy.
getting rebounds for him.
God.
He really thinks he can. Hey man, do me a solid, man.
Do
Hey,
me a
release
solid.
release those journalists, man. Come on, he ain't doing anything.
Yeah. I heard a really disturbing report that J.P. Morgan is paying people in China, the elites in China, their kids, something to get in some kind of favorable situation over there, which is illegal, and they're going to get called on the carpet for it. Like,
J.P. Morgan Bank.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get him business.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to to promote their business or get a better situation in China.
Yeah.
They're going to give the elite people in power, in China, their kids a preferential treatment, jobs, whatever. I'm not sure exactly how it works.
That ought to be illegal.
And it apparently is, and they'll probably pay a fine, but slap on the
Yeah.
wrist again.
You say you pay $100 million
Yeah,
fine. You make
no
$5
big deal.
billion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like chump change.
Yeah, a friend of mine works. He's very high up at Barclays Global, which is now BlackRock, and
I have stock in that.
You do?
BlackRock?
I do. I have because I just remember. Yeah, I have stock in that.
Do you know how much money these guys manage?
No.
Over $1 trillion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have a trillion in. I don't.
How many quadrillion dollars
Yeah,
are
yeah.
in the world? Or the equivalent of that?
I want to see. Yeah, I want to.
Yeah,
I want to
waiting
see. Would a trillion in ones fill up this whole room and then some?
for. Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh,
Would it fill
wow.
up the building?
Fill up the building, maybe.
Yeah, $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Straight cash, homie.
Biggest- One.
God.
Okay.
Wow, you messed me up. Let me start again. 1, 2.
It's just the money today. It's cartoon money in pro sports.
It is. It's monopoly money.
Yeah, the
It is.
billionaires. No. Like I said, I want to be the world's first trillionaire, and then $250 billion. Yeah.
I gotta laugh. I just introduced my kids to the original Batman TV series.
Oh, geez, with Adam
And they're
West.
just
Oh,
laughing.
it's-
Adam West,
Yeah.
they're laughing.
Is Adam West still alive?
I don't
he's-
know.
I think it's-
I don't know,
yeah,
but
there was-
the first ever one, the villain was
Joker.
the villain was the Joker,
The Joker.
Sid Caesar.
and the second one, the villain was the Penguin, and in the second one,
Burgess Meredith.
Meredith.
they kidnapped this actress who was in Gotham, recording a show, and the ransom it was like $200,000.
Yeah, of course. That's a lot of money those days.
$50. Yeah, it's so funny. I love when Robin kept coming up with this thing. It's so funny when someone had done it, like this, and he goes, "Doom." He's like, "Holy D'Artagnan!" Pow! That
That
was
was
great.
a funny show.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
But they're all these entire episodes. They're all on YouTube. You just like
Oh,
pull it up,
really?
just watch them.
Yeah, I love the Catwoman, Julie Newmar. She had these eyes,
There were like 3 of them.
Yeah, there were 3 of them.
Julie Newmar.
Halle Berry.
No,
And Baxter. And also, and I think
Meredith Baxter, right?
Meredith Baxter.
Meredith Baxter
Well, maybe.
and Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt.
That's
Yeah.
right. Eartha Kitt.
That's right.
Did I ever tell you about the time I met Eartha Kitt?
No.
Ah, great story.
You want to tell
I
it
can tell on the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to hear this.
All right, let's
It's a good
answer
one.
our question and go right into that.
Eartha
Here we go.
Kitt.
Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Hello.
and Bruce McGowan.
Hello there.
Okay, we got the second commercial break. We asked this trivia question: who was the coach of the Dream Team?
That was the late great Chuck Daly.
That was
Chuck
correct.
Daly.
See, I thought people were going to answer Mike Krzyzewski.
No, he was later.
Yeah, I pronounced that pretty well.
That was pretty good.
Now
Krzyzewski.
spell it.
K-R-Z-Y.
Oh, you're looking.
Quit like that.
No, but you know what? I'm still wrong on this
Oh,
one.
okay, all right.
There's a K and a Z and a Y. In
Yeah.
there. Okay, so off
One of
air.
those Polish names, they're tough to pronounce.
Yeah.
They're tough
Tough
to
to spell.
Tough to spell.
I don't even
yeah.
know if he could spell it correctly.
Yeah.
When we were off air, you were telling us that your kids are enjoying
Yeah,
the original
just-
Batman series.
Yeah, well, yeah, but believe it or not, America out there, there was a time when the Batman original series wasn't animated. You know, no special
No,
effects.
No, except for the sock pound.
Yeah. It was
1966.
Adam
West.
Adam West was
Yeah.
Batman.
And
Burt Ward.
Burt Ward.
Yeah. So anyway, I just introduced my young kids to it, and because they're all these episodes, they're on YouTube now,
That's great.
and
Check
so
it out.
so the very first season 1, episode 1, Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. Okay, and then the second one, Burgess Meredith as
the Penguin.
the Penguin.
Yeah.
and
Sid Caesar as the Joker.
that's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Julie Newmar as the Catwoman. Although
Catwoman.
there was another Catwoman. There were actually two, weren't there? There was
Yeah.
Julie Newmar,
Eartha Kitt,
Yeah.
Eartha Kitt,
and Lee Merriweather.
Lee
Merriweather.
Merriweather. That's
Lee
right.
Merriweather.
Oh, yeah, former Miss America.
No, no,
Exactly.
wait, no. She was Batgirl, wasn't she?
No,
No.
that was Barbara Gordon. That was
No, that's Commissioner
no,
Gordon.
no.
You're thinking
it was
of-
it wasn't Lee Merriweather. Lee Merriweather was she was
I
a
love Lee
Catwoman.
Merriweather.
she
But
was,
I-
she was a Miss America.
But you got to know Earth, or you got to.
Yeah,
I had a brush with fame. Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt.
She came into KRON TV in San Francisco to be on a talk show, and I found out downstairs. I was like, wow, because I was a huge Batman fan when I was growing up. So I'm going to go up and say hi to her.
She was more than just Batman. A Batman guest, though. She was.
Oh, just incredible talent. Vegas, Broadway, it's Eartha Kitt.
And she had that great voice.
Yeah. So so I go up there and she's sitting right there, and I get within maybe 5 feet of her, and I just go, Eartha, I just want to introduce myself. I'm just a huge big fan. As I was getting the fan out,
Yeah.
she just kind of holds her hand up and just yes. Yes.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Just gave me the just
Oh.
big time me.
Oh.
I-
That's a shame.
Yeah,
It
just
is.
completely just blew
Oh,
me off.
man.
Yes.
You know, I had a
That's the
similar-
only thing she ever said to me.
I had a similar situation happen when Steve Allen. You remember Steve Allen?
Yeah.
The original Tonight Show. Was it Steve Allen? No, that was
Jack
Jack
Parr.
Parr.
Jack Parr.
But Steve Allen was on with Frank and Mike on KNBR once, and I had to sit with him for a while and kind of keep him busy, talking to him while they were getting ready to do an interview with him. And he was totally disinterested in even making small talk. Maybe he was having a rough day. I don't know, but I just thought, oh geez, he was rude and he was not happy. And,
Some of these people, when the red light on the camera is not on,
Yeah.
they got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
We can
who
do a
knows?
whole show on famous
Yeah.
blow-offs. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but you know what though? You know Willie Mays, and he doesn't treat you that way.
That's right.
No,
that's,
he
And
did.
Willie Mays and Eartha. No offense, but Eartha Kitt is no Willie Mays.
Yeah.
that's right. Willie May. I'm proud to say he's got a pet name for me. Willie Mays.
Yeah.
So when he's joking around, he calls me Pee Wee because I'm height challenged. Sorry, America. Anyway, but when he's serious, he calls me Vernon. Not Vern.
Nice.
Vernon.
Does he know your first name?
James, no, doesn't know.
Willie always asks me, he says, how come you're not working anymore? And I said, well, I'm working. I'm just working part-time. Well, where are you? So you got to turn on this little radio station at a certain time. I don't know where that is.
Yeah, he's what, 80?
He's 81, 82.
82.
Yeah, his wife passed
wife
a
passed,
couple of
yeah.
years ago. About a year ago, Willie's amazing.
Still love
though.
that guy.
He's amazing.
You know what? He's the standard that I keep saying. Okay, is this guy as good as Willie? Is this guy as good as Willie?
Mhm.
You know, I mean,
Best storyteller. If you want to get a guy to talk about baseball, this is the best storyteller in the world.
I
mean,
read
really.
I read some article, and it was just incredible about the sort of things he'd noticed, like
Yeah,
this
little
catcher,
subtleties.
little subtles.
Yeah.
This catcher
Mhm.
had a little bit of a twitch, and so when he comes sliding
Yeah.
into home, he made sure He slides to the outside. I mean, it's just
Willie
incredible.
used to actually sit in the dugout during batting practice while his other teammates had finished taking their batting practice, would go back into the clubhouse and get ready for the game. Willie would sit there and watch the other team taking batting practice because he would pick up little things that hitters were doing, so he knew how to play them in the outfield. It's just
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I remember hearing Ty Cobb. What he would do is the other batters during batting practice that were hassling him for whatever reason. Probably Rogers Horns because he wasn't a very nice guy.
Well, neither was Ty Cobb.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And apparently Ty when he did like 19 in a row, he was hitting foul balls right into their dugout.
Really? Wow. Now, Ty Cobb's another guy, again, we're here doing this show here in Northern California. He lived in Northern California for a long time at the end of his life in Atherton.
Oh, that's great.
And he got into a big dispute with PG&E over a bill. This guy was one of the wealthiest ex-ball players, by the way. But he got in a dispute over something like a $50 bill, and they turned off his electricity. So he rigged up a line to the next person's house next door.
So he was the original guy stealing electricity.
He rigged up an extension cord so he could have electricity. I mean, this is the kind of... And toward the end of his life, he would carry around a bag full of securities along with his pistol, which he had just in case he had trouble with people. But he would carry like $150,000, $200,000 of securities, which was a lot of money back in 1960.
Bearer bonds, right?
61, yeah. And he'd be on the phone with his broker, constantly making deals. He was an amazing character.
Wow.
Not a likable guy though. And Vern, he did not like your people, unfortunately.
No, he did not.
No,
No.
he was very.
You talking about broadcasters?
No, I'm talking about African American people.
If you were slightly darker than him, it was
Oh.
because you better have a tan.
Yeah,
Because
he was
with
not a
Georgia Beach.
Yeah,
and
oh, yeah.
Not a nice
Yeah.
man. Not a nice man.
Like, probably, who was the first guy who played the 1880s? I keep forgetting his name.
Fleetwood.
Yes.
Oh gosh, he
Not
played
Floyd.
and then he was banished very quickly
Cap
because
Anson.
Camp Anston. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, 60. You think about it. All of the great players like Cool Papa Bell and Satchel
Josh
Paige,
Gibson.
Josh Gibson. It could have made the game that much better.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a shame.
Okay, speaking of baseball, Clayton Kershaw turned down a quote, lifetime $300 million contract from the Dodgers. And I understand a lifetime means that you're basically
That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
You're just playing.
Here's
with-
$300 million.
Yeah.
That's it.
What I guess I don't understand is, I mean, the Dodgers have a pretty good team, so it's not like he's going to play a lifetime for a team that's in the cellar.
Yeah, but I think he like most athletes, he just wants to have that option of being able to move on.
I heard he wanted to hold off for enough money to afford a 2-bedroom fixer-upper in Torrance.
No.
Is that true?
It's sad. There are very few athletes today that want to stay in one place anymore. And I can't really blame them, but how many, Cal Ripken Jr. and Tony Gwynn and Joe DiMaggio and
George Brett.
Yeah, George Brett. How many guys are like that anymore?
No, but why would they want to? Don't you get camaraderie with your teammates and you get to know the fans?
But look at the
But there's a lot of turnover.
A lot of
a lot of guys leave the team, move on. It's all about and they recognize that the career has a shelf life.
Yeah, look at
and what's the agent's job?
Exactly.
To get every red penny he possibly can before it's over.
Well, look at the San Francisco Giants. They won a World Series in 2010. 2012, they come back. They only have 8 guys who were on that team. Now, they were important 8 guys, mostly pitchers. 8 guys out of the 25. 2 years later, and they win another World Championship with a completely different team. How about that? That says it all, right? That's America.
Very few guys left now. Like I don't know what I'm thinking of. Just popped in my head. Rod Beck, when he re-signed with the Giants, for where he could have gotten so much more from another team, he just said, "Hey man, how much money do you need?"
Yeah.
No, if you like the guys, come on, I'm losing my train of thought here. Hunter Pence.
Yeah.
Apparently he's such a likable guy. Guys would want to hang around him.
Oh yeah. But again, it's to point this out. It's a short shelf life. You're one injury away from having your career derailed, especially in football, but in baseball and basketball too. I mean, these guys, they're done. Most of them by the time they're 30, and they have a short period of time to make a lot of money, and then they have to be out on their own in the real world, like you and me and Vernon here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys they want to chase that ring.
That's part of it too. But
and he's got it.
Yeah, that's right. And then you won another one, of course. Al Davis, I'll never forget this. Went up to Ken Stabler after they won the Super Bowl. They finally won the Super Bowl in 1976, and the first thing he says to Stabler, "Can you get me another one?" I mean, come on.
Can you get me another?
Can you get me another one?
Is that how we talk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Talk like this.
Hey Snake, can you get me another one?
Edward, your little program.
Yeah. Those two were not the best of friends, by the way. Later on in his career, Stabler had a bad season in '78, and Al Davis made some comments about him publicly. He usually wouldn't do this sort of thing. And somebody asked Stabler about it, and Stabler said, "I'd like to." They said, "Are you burying the hatchet with Al Davis?" You know, he says, "I'd like to bury the hatchet right between his shoulder blades." And then he lasted one more year and was traded to the
Houston Oilers.
Yeah, and if you ask him, well, Al Davis is gone now, but I remember asking him. He was talking about Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame. How about Ken Stabler? We're not talking about Ken Stabler. We're talking about Jim Plunkett. Don't mention Ken Stabler's name.
Is Stabler still not in the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not in the Hall. No.
Now, who's keeping him out?
Well,
Same guys who are keeping out Ray Guy.
I think Stabler's the victim of just being away too long.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys like us who remember him, but
yeah. He played till he was 38 years old. He was pretty good. I mean, he got a team in the Super Bowl. He got the Raiders during their glory years.
If I'm not mistaken, even though Pittsburgh's considered the team of the decade for the '70s, the Raiders actually won more games.
Yeah, they were beating the Raiders to get to the big game.
Yeah. Well, remember the Steelers. They started off the decade not really that well in '70 and '71. They became a great team in '72, '73, '74, and then the Raiders got the championship in '77. The Broncos in '76. Broncos got it in '77 in the conference, and then the Steelers got it back.
Boy,
the last 2 years.
Oakland was a great place to be in '72, '73, '74, especially with the A's.
Oh my gosh!
Back to back.
They called it the City of Champions. You think about it, 5 championships in a row. A's from '72 to '74, Warriors in '75, and the Raiders in '76.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, 5 in a row in 3 different sports.
Okay, I want to change subject real quickly. A few weeks ago, T.J. Ward, who put Gronkowski out for the year with a torn ACL because he hit him so low, he said that he was afraid of getting fined if he hit him too high. I mean, you think about that. That is pretty telling about where the game's going.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know
how
how Vernon feels about this, but unfortunately, the NFL has tried to legislate defense out of the game in the sense that they don't want these hard hits. But how? The whole basis of football is blocking and tackling. How do you stop guys that are, tremendous athletes and have all this adrenaline going and the testosterone from, not hitting each other hard?
What you do is you ask the guy as you're tackling him, could you kind of stand up a little bit more? I don't want to hit you in the head.
Right.
That works really well, doesn't it?
Well, like the hit that Ahmad Brooks put on Drew Brees a few weeks back.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous, and it cost the 49ers the game. I mean,
in the neck region, so he gets whistled and fined.
It was terrible.
I mean, I remember years ago they didn't used to call horse collars. That was just another way to tackle somebody.
Hey, if they did, the 49ers might have not gone on their great run because Eric Wright horse collared Drew Pearson right after the catch that Dwight Clark made, and Drew Pearson would have had 15 yards and they would have been in field goal range and probably won the game.
Yeah, this whole concussion thing, it's going to change the game. I mean, you're going to see a number of knee-related injuries because guys are hitting low.
And
nobody wants to.
Right? I mean, you're not allowed to. There's certain things you're not allowed to do.
Well, hitting the back, yeah.
Crack back blocks, that sort of thing.
Okay, we're going to cut to our third and final commercial break. Again, we're talking about the Dream Team. Who did the Dream Team lose to in their first practice squad? The first 3 callers with the correct answer won a free 3-day. I knew I had.
They had a scrimmage game. They had an exhibition game.
Apparently, they did. The first 3 callers are going to win with the correct answer, are going to win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. Who did the Dream Team lose to? Because remember, I think they went undefeated, didn't they? But they lost in their first practice squad. Make sure to include your name and your email address. Speak slowly. Spell out your email.
And it wasn't a team practice squad, right?
Well, it just says
it wasn't.
Who did they lose to in the first?
But it was another country.
Practice?
Yeah.
Was it another country?
I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to tell you nothing and you'll like it.
Well, I mean, it could have been the starting 5 against the second 5.
It's not a trick question.
Okay.
Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
Spain? Was it Spain?
You may guess Spain.
Okay, I'll guess Spain. I think it was Spain.
It
was like some. It's not a bad team, but not a great team. Spain had a pretty good team actually. I think they won one year. They won a bronze or something. I don't know. Are you into the Olympics, Vernon? You gonna watch much? The Sochi Olympics,
the Winter Olympics.
That'll be kind of fun.
Yeah. I'll watch the opening ceremony.
Yeah. I like to watch the downhill racing. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love watching that stuff.
You guys ever been?
How the hell is Lindsey Vonn gonna ski?
She's
with an ace.
I guess
I hear she's out there.
Yeah, she's out there. She finished 4th or something. She finished second off the lead the other night.
How long ago did she tour?
She's 28 years old.
She toured a handful of months ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's an amazing athlete, though. I can see why she and Tiger are together. God, can you imagine those two? What kind of athletes they would produce? Holy sh!
Well, that's why it's like with my
I'm sure
wife,
I'm sure it's come up in pillow talk.
Well, isn't she his squeeze right now? I think she is. Yeah.
But Tiger might not want any more. He might not want any more kids. He's got 2.
He's got 2 already. Yeah, Lindsay may not
Does
want me
she have any kids?
No.
I don't know.
She's never been married.
Women kind of, they get that.
Yeah, that's true. When they get
Clock
to
will
their
start
30s.
ticking.
My wife put the full court press on me when she was 33.
That's a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Tiger might go to pull out. She might just grab his cheeks. Where you going?
Where are you going?
Oh, God.
The rest of us, it's this.
Get back here. Oh, God.
Oh, I wish we could say that on the air.
I wish we could. You know what my dad said? I can't say this on the air. He told me this. I think I may have told you guys this. When I was about 55 and my dad was in his mid-80s, we're having lunch. And he grabs my hand like this and he looks at me and he gives me this real hard look. He goes, just remember, Bruce, women need to be fucked all the time. And it was because the key is, it's not so much the physical need. That's important. It's the idea that you love them, that they're the center of your world.
Yeah.
Men need it for the physical. Women need it for the emotional. Yeah. Well,
so when I go, hey baby, come here, that doesn't work too well.
Guys just don't get it. They don't get a clue. I mean, some guys do.
True.
Some guys do, but I mean, it's
I know. But sometimes that the communication. Sometimes it drags on so long.
Well, the dating scene today is insane. You know Heather Handman, who works over at KTV?
Yeah.
Did you see her Facebook?
She dresses like an Amish chick. What is up with her clothes and her hair?
She's a very attractive woman, but she's
trying to... Jesus, her hair's all fucked up.
I know. But anyway,
You ever seen it?
I know, but she's apparently doing these blind date situations, and she put a little thing on Facebook the other day, and she said, these guys are asking me these stupid... I can't believe these guys are asking me these questions. I said, man, dating must be tough. Heather, she was, tell me about it.
Oh, wow.
You know,
I thought she was married and had a kid.
Maybe she was. Now
she's got a kid.
Well, maybe she's out on the market now. Maybe she's not married anymore. It's tough.
I used to tease her all the time. You're the next Mrs. Glenn.
Very attractive woman and very, very talented. Seems like a nice lady.
Marco, I remember one time. He had just been divorced, and we went to go see some banker, and this woman was just, I don't say drop dead George. She was really pretty, and I was trying to fix him up with her, and they didn't get a chance to really kind of match up. But as he and I leave, he goes, "That's the next woman I'm going to be divorcing." They don't. Okay, here we go. Just a couple minutes to go, my friends.
Okay.
Should we bang this baby out?
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half.
For you guys who love sports.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Thanks.
It's true. It's true. Okay. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan.
Hello there.
When we cut to the third and final commercial break trivia question, we ask this question. Who did the Dream Team lose to in their first practice squad?
Brucey?
I'm just making a guess. I'm going to say Spain.
No.
Lithuania.
No. The NCAA Basketball All-Stars.
Oh,
And they were chosen for their expected skill levels of their European opponents.
What a feather in the cap for those kids.
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Beat the Dreamers.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you remember I asked you who were the only two boxers to have fought in 5 decades?
George Foreman fought for a long time, but I don't think he fought in 5 decades.
Nope.
5 decades. Ali?
Nope.
Going way, way back. It's going way back, right?
One of them is
Jersey Joe Walcott.
Nope. Okay. Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
He was one of them, and Roberto Duran.
The Hands of Stone.
Yeah.
So
I think Jack Johnson probably fought the bare knuckler initially,
Uh-huh.
and then later on.
Did he ever lace him? Did he ever put the gloves on? Jack Johnson?
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
all bare knuckles.
Did you ever see that movie? What was it? The Great White Hope with
Yes.
James Earl Jones.
Yes, I did.
Good film.
Very, very
James
well.
Earl Jones
He's perfect. He was
Yeah.
perfect.
He
for that.
was perfect.
Good. All right, guys, we're going to cut to our thoughts for the day here.
I have a Jack Johnson story.
Oh, tell us
Tell real fast. How fast?
Years ago, he was speeding, and then the cop stopped him and said, "Hey, that'll be $50," because Jack Johnson, he was pompous. Okay, so they were just doing anything to get him. So he goes, "All right, here's 50, and here's another 50 because I'll be driving the same way back."
Yeah, I love that. Okay, thoughts for the day. Lou Holtz said, "On this team, we're all united in one common goal: to keep my job."
True.
And former Auburn football coach Shug Jordan said,
Shug Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Always remember, Goliath had a 40-point favorite over David. I thought that was kind of cute. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and giving away more vacations for answering trivia questions. Sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Happy holidays, America.
So long.